Hi everyone, how are you? Welcome to 9th November 2024 Daily Decodes at Insights IAS, where we decode the Hindu newspaper. So we have approached, or rather we are in weekend right now, so tomorrow would be Sunday and off for me and off for you also. But as a UPSC aspirant, there is never an off, because on Sunday you do your revisions, you practice PYQs, MCQs and you write answers, and I hope that you do so. So with this, let's move to the thought for the day, and I have a wonderful thought today. However the long night may be, or however the long night, the dawn will break. This is a personal thought, and not a personal, this is a thought which is very much personally attached to me, and this is an African proverb, and I really understand the meaning of it, and I hope you do understand that whatever be your situation, even if your situation is going down the trail, it's not helping you, things are not working in your favor, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm very sure it will come your way. If not today, it will come tomorrow. So this is how sport persons play games, this is how people give exams, this is how an aspirant needs to be, and this is how you need to be in life also. So whatever your game is going on, it's not up to the mark, you are not able to get the things which you deserve, your friends are doing better than you, or the people you really like or you dislike, whatever the situation, if they are doing better than you, please remember that your journey is very different from them. Today you might be thinking that you are stuck here and the other person is moving here at a speed of say 10x. Probably he might get, or he or she might get stuck here at that 10x, and you will take a jump and you will move at 20x or 30x. So it's not about comparing with others, your comparison should be with you, that you become a better person, you become a better person in terms of putting an effort and be very having perseverance, having determination and moving ahead in life. The most important thing is that even if you need to crawl, even if you need to walk, or even if you need to run, you need to move forward. That is the end game of all things, that you need to move forward. So with this positive thought, let's come to today's important news. And good evening everyone, welcome to the class. Namaskar sir, namaskar Rai Thakur, and how is life? I am very good, and I hope Rai Thakur you are also very good. Everyone welcome in today's class, and if you have a question, please do put in the comment section or in the chat, and please do like, share the session, and do press the bell icon. Okay, so Supreme Court overrules 1967 verdict against AMU Aligarh Muslim University minority tag. So today is also the last day of Chandrachud sir. It was all over the media where he was giving his last day speech, and I think one statement also came out that I'll be unemployed, similar to what Rahul Dravid had said after winning the T20 World Cup. So CCI finds, that is Competition of India, CCI probe finds Zomato Swiggy breached antitrust law. Trial run of centralized PF pension system is successful. So we'll understand this. UPSC prelims will understand what is CCI and what is CPPS. Okay, India moods discussion with various groups in Myanmar, and in editorial we'll have BRICS journey gaining heft while in transitions. So these are the important news for today. From Supreme Court to CCI, that is Competition Commission of India, to trial run of centralized PF. This scheme was announced, what will come under this, and what does CPPS, why CPPS is important, how it is a very good step from governance point of view, we will understand. India moves discussion with various groups in Myanmar. So this is a continuation of news. Around 30th of October, we had also done an editorial on Myanmar, why Myanmar is very important for India, why it is important for ASEAN. And yesterday in Titbits we had covered that how China is currently talking with the military junta. So these would be the important news for today. So let's start with Supreme Court overrules 1967 verdict against AMU's minority tag, and the result which has come, the verdict which has come, it is 4:3. That means 4 as a majority and 3 judge had the dissent, and they were not agreeing with the decision, so they have given their opinion. So recognition by law won't annul minority status. So basically this news is about that the AMU, which came under a statute and its minority status was taken, now this has been overruled, and what Supreme Court said, what CGI said, we'll go and understand in the news. But before we move forward, we need to understand what is Article 30. around 2 to 3 days back also we had covered Article 30, Article 28, Clause 1, Clause 2, Clause 3. In the last 3-4 days, if you see, a lot of news has come from Supreme Court related to AMU or other decision which Supreme Court has taken, and I have covered everything. Yesterday we were covering that the state does not have the power that it can take any public or private property on the basis of that it would be for the larger good or for the community purposes. So lot of important judgments from CGI, or rather the Supreme Court, has come. We have covered everything. If any of these is left, please do mention in the comment section. We'll cover in the coming decodes. Sir, your way of teaching is best among all teachers. Thank you, dhanyavad, and thank you very much. Namaste, thank you. Abhishek Mishra, will IBSI2 vacancies come in 2025? I hope the vacancies come for you and you are able to sit for that exam. Okay, so Article 30 talks about right of minorities either from the religious point of view or from linguistic point of view. So right of minorities to establish, administer educational institution. This is also known as Charter of Education Rights, and basically it gives the religious or linguistic minorities right to run, to administer these educational institutions, and that is where the main intent of this particular news would be on Article 30 Clause 1. We'll come to that. All religious and linguistic minorities have the right to establish and administer educational institution of their choice. Okay, and this would be to preserve and protect, importantly, the cultural aspects. So Article 30 clause says the state shall not, when granting aid to educational institution, state cannot discriminate that this institution based on linguistic basis or based on religious basis. From a minority institution point of view, state cannot distinguish on these basis or can discriminate on this basis while giving funds to them. So state shall not, granting aid or education institution, discriminate against any educational institution on the ground that it is management of a minority, whether based on religion or whether based on linguistic basis. So this is very important. Article 30 clause 1 and clause 2. Clause 1 says all religious and linguistic minorities have a right to establish and administer educational institution. They can run these institutions, and that is the main part I want you to understand. I have covered Article 30 because this is what would be applied in the news. So let's go to the news. So Supreme Court verdict has come in a 4:3 majority judgment in which they have overturned the 1967 overruled the 1967 S. Aziz Basha case, in which now they have given back the AMU the status of minority tag. It's a minority institution, otherwise this tag was taken away from it. In 2006, Allahabad University, rather in 1980s, it was given the tag back again by some changes, but in 2006, Allahabad High Court had overturned, and this tag, the minority institution tag, was taken away from it. So the court held that an institution established by a minority community. So the major problem with the AMU was that since AMU came under a statute, AMU came under a law, so the petitioners, when they had filing the case that this tag should be taken, the minority status should be taken, they said it is coming under a law and it is coming under a statute. Therefore, since it is coming under the state law, state statute or state law, that means that this is not a minority institution and this should be taken away from it. So the court held that institution established by a minority community, even if it is coming under a statute, even if it is coming under a law, it will still remain a minority institution, period, full stop. Okay, so does not lose its minority status once recognized by a statute. So this judgment came from a 7-judge bench with Justice Suryakant, Dibankar Datta and S.C. Sharma dissenting. These are the 3 judges which did not agree with the decision. Okay. Okay, so Supreme Court overruled this. So what was the case? The 5-judge bench had ruled that AMU, being a central university, could not claim minority status and protection under the Article 30 clause 1 of the institution. So this was the major thing, that since it's a central university, it comes under this central and the state laws, it cannot claim it cannot claim this particular minority status. So Central University could not claim minority status and protection under Article 30 Clause 1 of the Institution, Clause 1 of the Indian Constitution. What is the Article 30 Clause 1? I have already explained to you. Challenge to Aziz Basha case, petitions argued that upholding the 1967 judgment, it will jeopardize the minority status which has been given to the Vellore College and to the St. Stephen's College, though they come in the central universities. So Stephen's College or Christian Medical College, St. Vellore, so even the minority status which has been given to these prestigious colleges, that might also go away. So Legislative Restoration 1981. In 1981, Parliament amended the EMU Act, restoring the EMU's minority status, though this was overturned by Allahabad High Court in 2006. So through the statute, when I was talking earlier in the Good evening Akhil Babu, when I was talking about the statute in the earlier part, that since it comes under the statute, it comes under this law. Basically the law was that it being a central university, it cannot have a minority status, and that is why it was taken away from it. And what Supreme Court has eventually said is that the court held that institution established by minority community does not lose minority status once recognized by a statute. So if it is recognized by a statute, does not mean that it will lose its minority status. So this is what the important decision has come. Now let's move towards the purpose of Article 30 and minority rights in education. So Chief Justice interpretation, Article 30 serves not only to impart religious education but also extends to secular education in minority institution. So Article 30, there are two basic purposes of it. One purpose is obviously that it gives the right to religious and linguistic minorities that they can administer education, they can open, administer these educational institutions. Apart from there is one more thing that that ensuring autonomy for minority communication, communities and education institution, while protecting against discrimination, that a discrimination does not happen against them from state. These are two important things which comes under dual purpose of Article 30 Clause 1, which Supreme Court said. One. Second important thing which they said, it serves not only to impart religious education but extends to secular education, that secular education can also be given in a minority institution. So first is rights. First is rights of imparting religious education, and second is secular education can be given in a minority institution. So this is what CGI's interpretation. Dual purpose of Article 30 Clause 1 in this particular context is that first you can open, administer these religious or linguistic institution opened by minorities, and second is that no discrimination should be happening against them. So I hope these pointers are clear to everyone. Burden of proof condition for claiming minority status. So there are two important things related to this. What court has said, that the burden to prove that this is a minority status, they should get minority, this should be on institution. Institution was established, why the institution was established? To benefit or preserve the cultural fabric of that particular minority community. So burden of the proof, this burden would be on the institute to provide. For this they can come with documents, speeches and establishment records which will help determine the institution's original purpose. And if you go back in the EMU's history, this is what they claim, that everything from why EMU was established, the major focus was on minority education, and that was the purpose. Next is autonomy and administration of minority institution. Right to administer. Supreme Court has also said in this that minority institution retain their character, that their character will not change even for some position if non-minority or non-community members, particularly for professional institutions, are there. So for administrative roles, if some non-community members are there, which should be or which can be very good for the institution, that can be done, and even if they are doing so, the minority tag will not be taken. Second, emphasis on secular education. The right to administer enables institution to operate autonomously, and they should also focus on secular education being part of it, or secular values being part of it. What is the next step? Now Supreme Court has said that they have gone through this case and they have referred the case now to 7-judge bench remanded the case to a regular bench for further examination for AMU status. So I think in coming days there would be more discussion on this when the regular bench sees it, and center will also give its statements. Some statements have come, but those statements will only have a purpose once this goes to the regular bench, and what regular bench would be taking a decision. As of now, under CGI Chandrachud, these are the statements which have come and what Supreme Court has said. So the question is, examine the significance of Supreme Court's recent judgment on Aligarh Muslim University, minority status in the context of Article 30, Clause 1 of the Indian Constitution. How does this ruling impact the autonomy of minority educational institution in India? So AMU became a central university, tag was being taken, Aziz Basha case, and now it is being overturned. Before that, some changes were done in the Act in 1980 so that AMU can get back the minority status, but in 2006, Allahabad High Court, they lost the case, and AMU status was, minority status was taken. Now it has been overruled. The most important article related to this is Article 30, Clause 1, Clause 2. Please go through it. I've already added in the PDF. I've already explained to you, and rest is given in the description, the link of PDF. Next comes the news. Zomato Swiggy breached antitrust law, CCI probe. So Competition Commission of India, so there was a case which was filed against Zomato and Swiggy by National Restaurant Association of India in 2022 that they are doing anti-competitive, following anti-competitive policies or processes which are harming lot of hotels and restaurants businesses. What they did, and what CCI is telling, what it basically gave in its report, whatever is available, we'll talk about it. So the Competition Commission of India, okay, Competition Commission of India launched an investigation in 2022 on the complaint from the National Restaurant Association of India in 2022 against Zomato and Swiggy. So good evening Divya, good evening Akhil, and see, already if you have been using Zomato and Swiggy and all these food aggregators or food delivery apps, like for example, if you talk about Uber and Ola, those are cab aggregators. Cab people will come, they'll put their cars, and in between they'll be eating their commission, and since their app is so popular, it's on everyone, this is how they will make business. Similarly, if you go for e-commerce aggregators, example of e-commerce aggregators are like Amazon and then Flipkart, and once these become very popular, then they start taking commissions from different companies that we will push you more, we will push your product more, or they will say that we will be taking a higher commission from you. If you don't want, you can go to someone else. But since these are main market dominant players, even if you go to a smaller player, you might not be able to do your sale. So I'll explain to you this news before I move forward. For example, there is a restaurant called, so there is a restaurant very near to our place, it's called Right to Food, okay, Right to Food, and there is one more restaurant called, say, Chennai Express restaurant, okay. So both of these sell South Indian food, for example. Now this RTF and CER, so RTF has done deals, it has done deals with Zomato, and it has also done deal with Swiggy. Okay, so what they will do is that Zomato and Swiggy, what they will do, or for example, he's only done the deal with Zomato. So now Zomato will push this Right to Food, it will give it better ratings, and once you start searching South Indian food in this particular area, or whatever food you are searching, whatever this restaurant, this hypothetical restaurant is providing, it will come first. Second, for example, from other restaurant, if Zomato is taking a commission of 10%, from RTF it will only take commission of 5%, but it will say that I will only take 5% commission if you only sell your food items on Zomato, you don't sell it on Swiggy. And similarly Swiggy, so Swiggy can go and do the similar kind of deal with CER. Now both of them have done these deals, and they will start selling their products on low commission. But there are plethora of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 smaller players or smaller restaurants which are not able to do these deals, and since they are not on social media, they are not on these Zomato and aggregators, and even if they are, they have to pay a higher commission because they are not directly dealing with Zomato and Swiggy. They are not ready to pay this high commission or low commission, whatever. They are not ready to do these under the table deals which would actually benefit. They are not ready to do this under the table deals or the deals which are anti-competitive in nature. Okay. And because of this, these two restaurants will start getting more orders because they are more visible on Zomato, they are more visible on Swiggy, and because of their business will increase. This is exactly what Zomato and Swiggy did, that they did particular deals with XYZ restaurants. They took less commission from them and started promoting more and told that you will be only with us, with not any other aggregator. And apart from that, they also did, Zomato and Swiggy, what they did is that, for example, the price of dosa is ₹100. So the Zomato and Swiggy told this, that if it is on ₹100 on Zomato, you will sell on Swiggy also for ₹100, so that price parity is maintained and consumer does not get the benefit of competition. So since the prices are same, you buy from Zomato or you buy from Swiggy, you will only get for ₹100. So even if the restaurant person wants to give discount, it will not be able to give. And even if there are 10 or 5 or 10 more restaurants which are on Zomato, you will not be able to see them, or they will not be pushed. It is similar to Amazon only. The products which you see on Amazon, I don't know how many of you know, they are under ads. All these products which you see, except the very popular one, lot of ads need to be put, lot of money need to be put on Amazon so that you can see all these products. Okay, so this is what Zomato did. Exclusive contract, Zomato entered in exclusivity contract, certain restaurants in exchange to lower commission. So if certain restaurants with lower commission, obviously lot of the other restaurant chains, they will not get the business. So this is anti-competitive in nature. Okay, guaranteed business growth. Swiggy guaranteed business growth to select partners. So similar to this, exclusive guaranteed business growth. You come to my platform, you sell vada pav, burger, or whatever you want to sell, you sell only on my platform. You will not go to Zomato. So for example, this is the bigger circle of online, and if for example 50%, 40% it is dominated by Zomato and 40% or 50% dominated by Swiggy, the remaining 10% of online players, they don't have that plethora, or these remaining this 10% player, they don't have plethora of so many audience to buy it, and rather they don't have the money to even reach the customers, because these two are ruling the 90% of the market, and that is what they exactly did. These practices favor large restaurant chains listed on their platforms, reducing the competitiveness of the market. The smaller players will not be able to reach, and that is why you must have seen when you order on Zomato, if it's a small restaurant, it will tend to give more discounts, you know, ₹100, ₹200, and there might be a big chain which might be giving a very average food, but it will give you no discounts, and even if you try to, even if the food is bad, you try to return back, there are a lot of issues which happens with Zomato and Swiggy. Sir, are these daily current affairs? Yes, these are daily current affairs which are happening on daily basis, Monday to Saturday, 7 to 8 p.m. These are daily current affairs where we analyze the Hindu. And I think the expected vacancies, I exactly don't know when the expected vacancies would come. If I get to know, I'll tell you. But there are chances that it might come next year. Okay. And Abhishek, I would also ask that if you're preparing and your friends who are preparing for UPSC examination, please ask them to join this session, and please do share this session with all your friends who are preparing in different groups, so that we can get a reach, and all this PDF, everything of this PDF, this is the PDF link is given in the description which you can use. Moving forward, market impact for exclusivity arrangement. The CCI investigation highlighted that these exclusivity agreements restrict competition by limiting option. Obviously, from 10 restaurants, now you have 2 options, and 2 have already done deals. Rest 8 does not have the market. Neither they have the money to make their own app, or they compete with Zomato or Swiggy. So, option for other restaurants and preventing the market from becoming more competitive. So, price parity, this I already told you, Zomato and Swiggy said that we'll maintain the prices. So, you buy a dosa from a restaurant, either mentioned on Swiggy or either on Zomato, the price would be same. Even if they want to give more discount, Zomato and Swiggy will not allow it, because they want to maintain their profits. This is exactly what they did. So, impact on competition. By enforcing this, Zomato and Swiggy directly reduce competition, since restaurant cannot offer lower prices on other online platforms. And other online platform, how many online platforms do you have? If you count it, the major popular ones are Zomato and Swiggy. Okay, at least in e-commerce they are increasing, or at least earlier we used to only what do you say, e-commerce you have more Flipkart and Amazon and Nykaa. Specifically for Nykaa is more from clothes and other products oriented. But again, the majority of them are 5 or 6 players if you count them. Similarly, if you talk about these players, Zepto is coming, Zepto is giving better deals, Blinkit is there, and Grofers became Blinkit, and I think Blinkit has also tied up with Zomato again. Now Zomato has got Blinkit, and now they are trying to create a mega empire, that since they have the food delivery also, now they will send these FMCG goods also, and once they start having so much of control, they become dominant players. Once you become dominant players, you have hegemony over the market, so whatever price you set, the other person will have to pay. For example, on Blinkit and even on Zepto, you must have seen that if you do not purchase a good less than, like if you're purchasing something for 200, it will say if you buy for 350, you will get free delivery. Even if you don't need the good to save that 15, 20, 30 rupees of delivery, you will buy it. So this is what, they are trying to push and making money. Okay, so confidentiality of CCI, the findings were shared with Zomato, Swiggy and the complaint restore groups in March 2024. CCI investigation documents are not publicly accessible, adhering to confidentiality rules. So let's see what will finally come out. Okay. Now, this is a question on this particular news. Discuss the implication of Competition Commission of India's findings on food delivery, food aggregators, platform like Zomato and Swiggy for competitive environment in India's digital economy. Similar to this, we also have we had a question on the Polity News also. Now, this is the prelims impact. Competition Commission of India, it's a statutory body and it's a quasi-judicial body responsible for enforcing Competition Act 2002, and initially or earlier you were having something called Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act 1969, MRTP Act, which was replaced by Competition Act 2002 on the recommendation of Raghavan Committee, and Competition Act 2002 gives you Competition Commission of India. So this is the body which goes toward these and works on anti-competitive laws or anti-competitive practices rather. Composition consists of one chairperson, 6 members, chairman and other members should have whole-time members. Commission is quasi-judicial body. What do you mean by quasi-judicial body? It gives opinion to statutory authorities and it also deals with cases. So dealing with cases, and if someone comes for suggestions or opinions, some statutory body is coming for opinion suggestions, it will also give those. Moving further, Competition Act 2002, so it was passed in 2002, amended in 2007, and it follows the philosophy of modern competition laws. Even in this competition laws and on these antitrust policies and these antitrust things which are going on, Google is also being hit by similar things in America and Europe, because Google is also doing these practices so that it has the hegemony over the Play Store and the apps. So the act prohibits anti-competitive agreements, abuse of dominant position by enterprises. So if Zomato has taken Blinkit, and if say Swiggy is also taking, Swiggy also has one of these delivery things. Okay, just a sec guys. Sorry guys, something just dropped, so I had to just clear the table. Oh, thank you very much, Abhishek. Even if you're an SSC aspirant, I am sure these sessions would be helping to you, and thank you very much for your lovely wishes. So in accordance with the provision of Amendment Act, the Competition Commission of India and Competition Appellate Tribunal were established. That is why you have Competition Commission of India, which came after Competition Act 2002, which was later amended in 2007. The government replaced Competition Appellate Tribunal (COMPAT) with NCCLAT in 2017. NCCLAT is National Company Law Appellate Tribunal. Okay, what are the function and role of CCI to eliminate practicing having adverse effects on competition? So it promotes competition, because if there is more competition in the market, consumer will get better goods, consumer will get better prices. So its focus is dissemination of these programs, telling consumers about that competition in the market is good, you will get better products, you will get high quality products. So its focus is on consumer, it is pro-consumer. So to give opinion on competition issues on reference received by statutory authority, this is from a quasi-judicial point of view. To undertake competition advocacy, creating public awareness and imparting training. Apart from that, consumer welfare, I have already explained to you. Again, if you see from Zomato and Swiggy point of view, it is from consumer welfare. They get more competitive prices, ensure fair and healthy competition in economic activities, country for faster and inclusive growth. Even in this, when I was covering, where is that point? Okay, I've already covered that point. Yeah, this dominant position by enterprises, this dominant position, this is when I was giving the example of Zomato, and all these will become big players and they will dominate the market. Okay. Implement competition policies with the aim to effectuate the most efficient utilization of economic resources, effectively carry out competition advocacy and spread the information on benefit of competition among all stakeholders. So establish, nurture competition in the Indian economy. Focus is more competition needs to be get, and it is pro-consumer. They will tell consumer if a statutory body needs some suggestion or they need some guidance from them, they are ready to give that. And focus is eliminating practicing having an adverse effect on competition. If competition is there, better prices, better goods, high quality goods for the consumers. Next is center announces successful trial of new pension system. So what is centralized pension system? Centralized pension, just a sec guys. Centralized pension payment system. So it is a national level centralized system. What's the wonderful point from this payment system is that, so for example, my mother gets pension. Okay, so what happens is that every year she has to go to one particular bank, 6 months or 1 year, and she has to go personally to that bank and to they will check that she is the person who should get that pension or not, and she will the bank will verify and everything. So this used to be a lot of problem to the citizen of the country or who is getting the pension. And the point was that you could only go to certain selected banks and that branches also of that particular bank. So for example, in my case, the branch is in somewhere in South Delhi or in Delhi. So my mother has to go on that particular branch only. If that particular branch is not handling, then she probably has to go to a different state or some other branch. So this was the major issue which was there, that you can go to these particular branches only of this particular banks. So there was no centralized system, rather it was a decentralized system. So now it is a national level centralized system allowing pension payout through any bank or branch in India. So this will make the life of the citizens very easy. Okay. So this replaces the current decentralized pension disbursement system, where each EPFO, zonal or regional office, what they do, they have tied up with some banks and their branches, so you have to go there. Now you can be in any part of the country, you can go to any branch for your pension, and most importantly, you don't even have to go for 6 months or 1 year personally to the bank. They will check you that you are there or not, or they will do your KYC, nothing has to be done. So this is a very good governance and proactive system using technology. Okay. So centralized pension system under the EPS employee pension scheme of the Employees Provident Fund Organization has successfully completed the pilot run. The system aims to facilitate pension payment from any bank or branch across India, easing accessibility for pensioner. The full implementation of CPPS is scheduled for January 2025, when it would be implemented all over the country. Right now, only the pilot project was done and it was successful. What is the most important thing? Nationwide accessibility. You can go to any bank, any branch. Pension from any bank, any branch, eliminating dependency on specific bank agreements. Then the problem, no verification requirement. Otherwise, the pensioner, the citizens who were getting pension or the pensioner, they needed to verify every 6 months or 1 year. So no longer need to visit the bank for verification upon pension commencement, streamlining the process. And this verification problem was majorly for people whose jobs have ended and they've moved to different states, and then they had to travel a lot. Pension mobility, CPPS ensures the seamless transfer of payment orders, enabling pension disbursement without delays, even if pensioners relocate, change banks or branches. So it is modernization of EPO, tech-enabled, efficient disbursement, enhanced user experience, convenience, especially for retirees moving to hometown and changing banks. So this was a major problem, that people used to change their banks, they used to change their cities, then there used to be a lot of inconvenience, they had to shift their banks, branches, and a lot of paperwork, continuous calls, and then verify them. So this used to be a lot of inconvenience to the citizen, lot of inconvenience to this pensioner. Now we are getting rid of this. So this is a wonderful step which is being taken. Okay, so robust and responsive organization that caters efficiently to members and pensioner. So transforming EPFO. Discuss how the CPPS under EPFO demonstrate the role of technology in promoting good governance through transparency, accountability and efficiency in service delivery. Next, India moods discussion with various groups in Myanmar. Okay, now on 30th October Daily Decode class, I had covered this wonderful editorial. If you have not completed it, please go in that editorial. Now you have a playlist also. In playlist you will get the previous lecture also. On the Inside YouTube page, go on to the playlist part, you will see the Daily Decodes playlist. So a collective effort towards peace in Myanmar. It was a wonderful editorial, and where we had discussed what India needs to do, what ASEAN needs to do, what is Myanmar problem, why Myanmar is very important from India from Act East policy point of view. We share a border of 1643 kilometers of Mizoram, Manipur and Nagaland sharing border from Myanmar with Myanmar, and how Myanmar forms an important bridge for India for Act East policy, for integrating of ASEAN countries, and for more from trade and economic point of view. Okay. So see, if you see, Myanmar is very important for us. If you see from this ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nation, which is a political and economic union of 10 states in Southeast Asia. So it's a bridge if we want to do trade out here. If you see Mizoram, Manipur, Nagaland, it forms border Myanmar. Then the problem of Kuki, Metis and Myanmar is also, if you remember, we had also discussed Golden Triangle. It's India is sandwiched between Golden Triangle and Golden Crescent. So Myanmar is very important from the insurgents which go to Myanmar, which might get some support from them, anti-drug trafficking drive, anti-illegal weapons drive. From all these angles and from business point of view, ASEAN point of view, Myanmar is important. So I was just giving you a background of this, and all the information which I have said, which I had also covered in 30th October, I have added those slides for your reference in this session also, and the link of the PDF is given in the description, so you will get that also. And it would be better if you go to the 30th October and complete that particular news. It will really help you. So Ministry of External Affairs emphasize the consultation with diverse groups. When it talks about diverse group, what is happening in Myanmar is that there is a military junta. So in 2021, it did a military coup. It overthrew Aung San Suu Kyi. It was a democratically elected government, and it took over the entire Myanmar. Now what happened is that in the recent months and years, this military junta, it has lost lot of part of Myanmar to the rebels. So these rebels have taken a huge amount of part, and now Myanmar is under pressure from India, from ASEAN and even from China, that it tries to find a solution to this, and this particular problem does not turn into a huge turmoil which can become an internal, it starts as it is already an internal conflict in Myanmar. It does not vertically escalate, or it does not horizontally escalate to the other parts or the other states or other countries touching the border of Myanmar. So India is talking about Myanmar owned and Myanmar led solution to the ongoing conflict. So India does not want, and India will not get into the internal affairs for Myanmar, but it is talking about solution should come from Myanmar owned and Myanmar led. This has been the policy of India's diplomats and foreign policy. It is the policy of neighborhood first policy. We do not interfere in the internal affairs of the country, be it Bangladesh, and for that matter even any country including Pakistan. We don't interfere in their internal affairs, but here it is being said that the solution should come from Myanmar. So according to MEA, such interaction aim to develop solution that respect Myanmar's internal sovereignty and foster long-term stability. So long-term stability, if Myanmar is long-term stable, it is good for India, it is good for ASEAN, it is good for business, it is not good for the insurgent, it is not good for the people who want to derail Myanmar, and it is not good for all those people who are against the idea of Myanmar. So in that terms, it is important that long-term stability and eternal sovereignty of Myanmar is retained. So Indian Council of World Affairs organized a workshop on Indian experience and constitutionalism, and many important organizations and stakeholders from Myanmar participated, including 17-member delegation and including individual linked to military junta, civil society, political figures connected to junta alliances. And the MEA sees this regular consultation as pivotal to Myanmar peace building process. So what you are seeing is that today, we are meeting this time people from military junta, but also similarly we would also be meeting upcoming dialogue with ethnic and rebel groups, which are ethnic armed organization and the rebel national unity government, which have taken a lot of area of Myanmar. So if you see, this policy used to be of China and many other countries where they used to talk to the government also and the rebels also. This is a change in Indian policy where India sees that it is important that we have a stable Myanmar. So recently the military junta had met Premier Lee Kyang. So again, if you see this, we had covered yesterday, and India is also following similar kind of things. They are meeting the military junta also, they are meeting the rebel leaders. This is a shift in India's diplomacy. Earlier we only used to meet people where who are the legal representatives or who are the government representatives. Now if you see rebels do not have legal representation or a government representation, but Indian government or the Indian ministers or people from our government are ready to meet because they want to find a solution. This change we also saw when Indian leaders or Indian diplomats or people from Indian government, they met Taliban leaders also. So you are seeing a shift in India's diplomatic approach. Otherwise India used to shy away, but today India is very confident in meeting people which are important for the regional peace or even the global peace. So this is the notes, UPSC notes 30th October have added what is the problem which is going on Myanmar and what can be the solution, what is the ASEAN solution. ASEAN has given a 5-point consensus India agrees with. You can go and read this later on. Question: discuss the significance of India's diplomatic efforts in fostering inclusive Myanmar-led solution to country's conflict, considering India's strategic interest and regional stability. So this is like a little bit of internal security part, but majorly external scenario, also internal security, because since Myanmar is touching border with Mizoram, Manipur and Nagaland, so the northeast issue, Kuki Meti issue, because Kukis are having the free movement which happens between Kukis in Manipur towards Myanmar, and a lot of Kukis coming from that side, north, and then the issue in Manipur getting into a turmoil. That angle is there from internal security point of view. Now coming to today's editorial, the BRICS journey gaining heft while in transition. Okay. So let's move on this. So BRICS I have covered a lot. So a wonderful editorial has come. It is again talking about BRICS. So 16th BRICS summit which happened in Kazan, Russia, it was highly successful. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. The initial 4 members were BRIC, and South Africa joined later in 2010. BRICS group originally consisting of Brazil, Russia and India and China. Later South Africa joined, and this time 5 new members were also there, which included UAE was there, Saudi Arabia was there, Egypt was there, Ethiopia was there and Iran was there. So now from 5 the group has become 10, and around 34 countries have expressing interest in joining and signaling BRICS upward trajectory. So BRICS is moving forward. 34 countries have desired and they are expressing interest to join. And please see these countries: Saudi Arabia oil, UAE oil, Iran oil and gas, Egypt similar, Ethiopia also with lot of resources. In this context, if you see all these countries, they have a dominant position when it comes to West Asia or Middle East. They are joining. 34 countries have expressed interest. So this BRICS summit, a lot of BRICS summit has happened, but this particular BRICS summit, if I take in the last 4 or 5 years, this is very different, and this is very important, because everybody thought that only the most important states will come, and they will not get so much of support. Putin will get not so much of support since he is presiding, and Russia had the chair of this BRICS summit. Russia got humongous support in it, and for around 2 to 3 days when this summit was happening, all over the world, all the press media was covering this particular BRICS summit. And the expansion it was talking about, de-dollarization it was talking about, and how this particular BRICS is not against anti-West, but it is reformative in nature. So it will not be replacing the Western dominated institution which do not see the global South, but rather BRICS would be reforming it. And lot of positive steps came out, and lot of bonhomie was there between various countries, and most importantly India and China had a formal discussion where the disengagement has started and we are moving towards border in a more positive way. Okay. So reform not replace, I have already covered. BRICS seem to create a new world order, reforming the existing, more inclusivity, that all the countries which cannot become part of the global global institutions or the developed world institutions like G7 or any other institution with the hegemony is maintained by the West, Europe or the Americans, they can join BRICS, and BRICS would be helping. BRICS is more inclusive in nature. Core values, BRICS spirit includes mutual respect, solidarity, openness, inclusiveness, collaboration and consensus, which is now very much missing from many institutions. If you take United Nations, it's still being dominated by Western countries. The United Nations recently, United Nations Security Council and Americans were talking about that we want that India get a permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council. But to that statement, the next statement which was added is that India will not get a veto power, or even for that matter Germany. So they want to give us an empty seat without any power. So they still, after 1945 the UN comes, it used to be called League of Nations. In 2024 all these institutions does not show the reality of today, and we can see why UN has become a redundant organization. It does not have a tooth, and that is why Syria is going on, Israel Hamas is going on, Israel Hezbollah, Israel Houthi, Israel Iran, or Russia Ukraine is going on, or for that matter previously Russia Crimea, when Crimea was taken. So United Nations has become a toothless organization, except people come, talk there, give their opinions. If you are a powerful country like Russia or America, you can do whatever you want. Americans went for the to find the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. They did not find anything. No sanction, nothing happened against the Americans. So that is the problem of these major institutions. Even if you take SWIFT key or the SWIFT system which works between international banks, it is an independent system, but again it is dominated by the Americans and Europeans, and that is why when Russia attacked Ukraine, they stopped or they banned 7 national banks of Russia to do trade. So if you see in this context, all these institutions are dominated by the Americans and West, and that is why these countries are looking towards BRICS and expanding, and that is why these principles hold good. So verticals of cooperation, BRIC cooperation spans political and security, economic and financial, cultural and people-to-people realms. So major development focus on West Asia. It condemned what was Israel doing, though the mention of October 7 attack was not there. Ukraine conflict, since this particular BRICS Summit 16. It was presided and chaired by Russia. It spoke on Ukraine war lightly, calling for dialogue without taking slides. Local currency use, again de-dollarization, and they were talking about that we need to use local currency, but how that will be used, more on this will come later. New development bank is already there. Saudis are saying that they might put some more money, but again not something substantial has come. People to people cooperation, cultural and social exchanges will be increasing. New partner category, BRICS introduced partner state inviting 13 nations from Latin America, Africa, Eurasia, and this would expand BRICS if BRICS is expanding. So it is not against VAT, it is only giving chance to those countries which are not able to join the other institution, and if they are able to join this, obviously this would be increasing from economics point of view, GDP point of view, security point of view. It will become a very cohesive organization. Security, there are many things which BRICS looks into. Okay, even from regional security, strategic role for perspective, key plurilateral grouping. First it was 5, now it is 10, and in the coming days, by the next summit happens, I'm sure more countries would be joining it. And BRICS complements India's engagement with G20, Quad, BIMSTEC, G7, SCO. So if you see India is in the Western, India is being welcome in the Western world also, and in the BRICS world also, and in the Eastern world also. We are everywhere. So this is, globally, diplomatically, India is very much on the right track. Recently, I saw some video in which a CIA person was saying that India today talks about India's interest, and that is how any country talks about. So India-China dialogue, I have explained, rapprochement is happening, bridge between global region for India, BRICS, strengthens geopolitical bridge between east or west and north and south. Because if you see north-south transport corridor, Russia is there, Iran is there, now Russia and Iran are also part of BRICS. So discuss the significance of BRICS recent expansion, impact on global governance. How does India's role in BRICS continue to border geopolitical strategy? This question is there. You can write an answer for this. In Titbits we have Duma Boko. So he is the Botswana's new president in New Dawn. He assumes office, Duma Boko, and Botswana is this. The capital is Gaborone, and it is in the southern part of Africa. Just above, if we see the map location. So the countries, surrounding countries are Angola, Zambia, Zimbabwe. Then you have got, let me just clear this. So Zambia is there, Zimbabwe is there, and if I am correct, Lesotho should be there. Sorry, South Africa is there, and Namibia is there. So Namibia is there, and Zambia is there, Zimbabwe is there, and South Africa is there. It looks like Angola is touching, but Angola is finishing here. So it is not touching. Namibia, Zambia, Zimbabwe. On other map it would be clear, but I hope that you've got an idea if a question comes. And Gaborone is the capital. Now, coming to the next tidbit, General Chauhan, that is the CDA Chief of Defence Staff, launches Project Shaurya Gatha. So this is a project which is related to launch project initiative of Department of Military Affairs and UNI, United Service Institution, to conserve and promote Indian military heritage. So from a fact point of view, so General Chauhan launches Project Shaurya Gatha, and the other tidbit important news is Duma Boko, position of Botswana, countries surrounding it. It's in the southern Africa. In the extra mile, you can go through this. Manila signs Lotto demarcates South China Sea territories. Small news, but what I would want is that if you do get time, read about how China is building artificial islands, what is 9-dash line, what was 11-dash line. If you do get time, go through the South China Sea crisis. So with this, we end today's lecture. I hope you learned a lot. And if there is something you want me to explain more, or you want me to add in the session, please let me know. We now meet on Monday. Please do share the session, and thank you very much. If there is any comment, I've seen it, okay. So if there is anything, please let me know. Take care, Jai Hind, and bye, sayonara.